It's no news that Terence Crawford has begun a mini training camp ahead of his September fight against Canelo Alvarez just immediately after he recovered from an injury, while the undefeated world champion intends to improve his training intensity. As the fight draws closer, he has started on a very impressive note, trying out new training and weight-building methods to ensure his size disadvantage becomes less of a problem in the ring. The potential fight in September between Saul Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford could become one of the most interesting fights of the last decade. The year 2025 began with a series of exciting developments for all boxing fans due to the good number of fights that could take place throughout these 12 months, which have been awaited for some years. And one of those fights is Canelo facing Crawford. The website Essentially Sports reported Arab Sheikh Turki Al-Sheikh has all the credit if this fight goes ahead, as it is said that in the past few days, he held a meeting with Canelo himself to talk business and multi-million-dollar purse to acquire the rights to the Mexican's next Al-Sheikh, and Canelo reportedly reached an agreement.
That's right, champ. Run it up, champ. That's right. On the toes. There you go, on the toes.
To stage the fight against Crawford in mid-December as part of the celebrations for Mexico's Independence Day. However, the biggest question is not the fight itself, but the weight difference between the two fighters. Several experts in the boxing world, and even some former world champions, such as Mike Tyson, are wondering what the southpaw from Alabama will have to do to match Canelo's weight 2 categories above, and a difference of 14 pounds between music. Terence Crawford, well known in the boxing world for his exceptional skills and unbeaten record, stands as a testament to the power of dedicated training and strategic physical conditioning. Crawford's approach to training for his fight against Canelo Alvarez combines rigorous physical preparation with a strong mental game, setting him apart in the boxing world. Crawford's current training routine is a diverse blend of activities designed to hone his boxing prowess, maintain peak physical condition, improve his punch power, and make him gain the necessary weight he needs to challenge Canelo Alvarez. A typical day in the champ's training routine includes circuit training with weight strength and conditioning workouts to improve speed and agility, core work where McIntyre bounces a heavy medicine ball off Crawford's stomach while he's doing crunches, mountain runs, and swimming. Crawford is especially a fan of swimming for cardio. Training will swim for 30 minutes to an hour every night. It's non-impact, basically easy on their joints. It helps with recovery, regeneration of muscle cells and fibers. It's not natural for him.
Don't miss that one. Don't put on. Don't fall while he's great.
So he has to work a little bit harder. It's a different type of cardio from running, I think. It helps tremendously on the cardio side. He then moves to boxing training. With his boxing training, Crawford is always working hard to improve his moves both on the attack and the defense. You can see this clearly when he practices with his pads. One of the things that makes him stand out is how easily he can switch between 2 different stances when he fights. At first, his coaches tried to convince him to stick to one stance, but eventually they realized it was better to train him in both. You can still see him practicing this way today. When boxers train for a fight, they often practice sparring with other boxers to improve. This was especially true for Terence Crawford early in his career. He was so good that even top boxers like Timothy Bradley were impressed by him. Nowadays, Terence is one of the best boxers in the world, and other boxers come to him to spar. They don't usually win, though, because Terence is so good. Even though Terence is naturally right-handed, he is also good at fighting with his left hand. Music When Crawford spars with other boxers, he often uses his world-class left-hand boxing. Fans know that developing punching power requires a lot of hard work. One of the main tools used for this purpose is the heavy bag. Crawford, a professional boxer, is no exception. Crawford uses the heavy bag to practice his punching technique and build. His shoulder endurance. Watching Terence in action, you can see him throwing powerful punches, quick combinations, and everything in between to get the most out of his training. Crawford mixes up the rhythm of his punches, sometimes hitting the bag softly, and other times with full music. This is a common exercise that helps him improve his overall boxing skills. Crawford has been working with his coaches for most of his life. One of the most important parts of his training is practicing on the pads with his coaches. During these sessions, he doesn't focus on hitting hard or fast. Instead, he works on different offensive and defensive scenarios, focusing on technique and tactics. Crawford and his coaches also use other training tools like reaction noodles and a punch shield to improve their movement and precision. Terence Crawford is a phenomenal shadow boxer with some impressive skills. One of the things that make him stand out is his ability to stay calm and adapt to different situations in the ring. He's good at throwing offensive and defensive punches, making it look effortless. But that's not all. Crawford is also incredibly tough mentally. He'll often train in really challenging conditions to push himself harder. And when he's not doing that, he likes to use light 2 kilograms dumbbells to shadow box. These help him build strength, while also staying fast yet graceful. So he can hit hard while still being quick on his feet. Crawford is consistently looking to improve his accuracy and timing to achieve this. He uses a specific bag called the double end bag during his training. It helps him to practice footwork and head movement, which are important skills to have in the boxing music ring. His coach BAC also uses sticks to surprise Crawford and make him react defensively. Also, his nutrition plan focuses on lean proteins, complex carbohydrates, and hydration, ensuring optimal performance and recovery during camp. I let my coach handle everything with the food my nutritionist tells him. What she wants me to eat, and she fixes it, he told Muscle and Fitness the last time. She actually was with me the entire camp, and she handled everything with the food. I really don't worry about that. They cook it, and I eat it. Music. Mikey Garcia, who is the younger brother of Ring Magazine's Manager of the Year winner Robert Garcia, was one such skeptic. The former featherweight, super featherweight, lightweight, and super lightweight champion told Fight Hub TV that he did not fully support the fight despite being one of the most desired by fans of the sport. I'm not a big fan of that fight, Garcia said, highlighting the weight difference between the Mexican and the American, and remembered how Crawford suffered against Israel Madoff after moving up to 154 pounds, 3 categories. Fight. There are too many weight classes, Amar. And although the skills Crawford is one of the best fighters that I've seen now, Canelo. Despite Crawford's seemingly superior skills, Garcia believes that size difference will be the deciding factor in a potential matchup. The Mexican fighter's power and size will likely give him the edge. That's why I'm not a fan of that fight. I think Crawford has accomplished everything he had to accomplish from 140 to 147.
There are too many weight classes apart. And although the skills, Crawford is one of the best fighters that I've seen. Now, Canelo...
And now 154, that's even bigger for him, Garcia added. If Crawford really wants to push himself, he could go the route of an undisputed fight in his current division. He opined, however, there is a problem, but there's no money in that. Garcia acknowledged that a fight between Canelo and Crawford would generate substantial revenue. But as a fan of the fights, he is not in favor of the matchup. As he said, he would prefer to see Alvarez face fighters within his weight class or higher, such as URBBV or a rematch with Dimitri Bivol. Fighting at 168, Crawford just moved up to 154, and he had some trouble with that in that fight now. Where do you plan on going? 164, 65, 66. He wanted to challenge himself to go up to 175 again and challenge himself against those fighters, and not a smaller guy going up in weight, Garcia explained, as the long-anticipated showdown.
Was, fighting at 168. Crawford just moved up to 154, and he had some trouble with that in that fight. Now, where do you plan on going? 164, 65, 66?
Between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez continues to ignite excitement and debate within the boxing community. Even more boxing professionals are giving their contributions. Crawford, celebrated for his versatility and technical prowess, is aiming to move up 2 weight classes to challenge the undisputed super middleweight champion, a daring leap that has divided opinions among boxing experts. Canelo ain't going to come down to 160. Canelo ain't going to come down, maybe 166 max. If he accepts the F, I think Canelo wins that fight based on just the size. One prominent voice weighing in is former heavyweight world champion Deontay Wilder. In a recent interview with ES News, Wilder shared his concerns about Crawford's significant weight.
Canelo ain't going to come down to 160.
Yeah,
Canelo ain't going to come down, maybe 166 max if he accepts. I think Canelo wins that fight based on just the size.
Jump 147 to 168. That's way too much, Wilder stated. Although you can switch from southpaw to orthodox when you're touching those guys that are heavier, it's a different feeling. It's like you're a baby. I'm not saying you can't knock anyone out or punish them, but I think it takes more time moving up in weight. The way punches are absorbed is entirely different than with small opponents. Since Wilder's remarks, Crawford has taken a step forward in closing the weight gap by capturing the World Boxing Association super welterweight title. Good one. If they do, I'll be there. That's going to be a good one. Both of them great guys. They got great talent, and you both of them very determined, got that killer in. And in this sport, however, even with this achievement, a daunting 14 pounds difference remains between him.
Good one. If they do, I'll be there. That's going to be a good one. Both of them great guys. They got great talent, and both of them very determined. Got that killer instinct,
and Canelo Alvarez, a disparity that could play a crucial role in the fight's outcome. Canelo, known for his relentless punching power and stamina, has established himself as a dominant force in the super middleweight division. Despite suffering 2 career defeats, both by decision, he has consistently showcased remarkable defense and resilience, solidifying his reputation as one of the toughest competitors in boxing. This matchup promises to deliver an electrifying spectacle, but it also represents a monumental challenge for Crawford.
If they do, I'll be there. That's going to be a good one. Both of them great guys. They got great talent, and both of them very determined. Got that killer instinct, and in this sport.
If they do, I'll be there. That's going to be a good one. Both great guys. They got great talent, and both of them very determined. Got that killer in that. And in this sport, to succeed, the Omaha native must showcase extraordinary adaptability and resilience against an opponent of Canelo's caliber in a higher weight class. While Wilder's concerns about the weight disparity are valid, the allure of this fight is impossible to ignore. Pitting 2 of boxing's elite talents against each other, this clash of styles and raw power has fans eagerly awaiting what could be one of the sport's most captivating events. It's surprising that Canelo Alvarez would already have a guaranteed opponent for 2025, not for the May date.
Named you and Terence Crawford as one of the top 5 fights that he wants to see this year. Is that a fight that you're considering now?
We'll see everything.
But for his second fight of the year, scheduled for September on the weekend when the independence of Mexico is celebrated in Las Vegas, named you and Terence Crawford as one of the top 5 fights that he wants to see this year. Is that a fight that you're considering now? We'll see. Everything is after much insistence. It seems that the effort is bearing fruit for Terence Crawford, and Sheikh Turki El-Sheikh and the undefeated American fighter will be his opponent for the second fight in 20125. However, saw Alvarez's acceptance to face Crawford will be quite expensive for the promoters, as the Mexican had already anticipated. According to boxing insider Ray Jackson, Canelo Alvarez will receive $150 million for the fight against the Butt, a figure that the Guadalajara native had already mentioned at the end of 2024. If they wanted him to think about the possibility of accepting the fight. Canelo Alvarez will get $150 million guaranteed for a fight with Crawford. Jackson posted on X. If that payment is made, Saul Alvarez will return to the top of the highest paid boxers and athletes in 2025, a list from which he dropped out the previous year. It's possible. Oh, we'll see. We want to talk about it. See down really well. And then figured out something. I know you thought he was kind of a lose-lose situ. In 2024, the highest paid boxers were Alexander Usyk, $114 million, and Tyson Fury, $15 million, with their 2 fights under the oaths of Turkey. Alec figures that the Mexican would surpass only with the guaranteed fight against Crawford, where surely other income derived from that fight, and the one he will have in May, in which he has not yet confirmed an opponent since his fight against Crawford last year. The truth, hasn't fought in over a year, even though a rumored fight against Sebastian Fonder is being negotiated for later this year. Could happen. I mean, why not? Proper want to challenge himself to be great. Let him try to be great, so you know what I'm saying. I'm with it. So I'll be going for B. If he fight it regardless. Spence actually had the opportunity to activate his rematch clause with Crawford, but chose not to. Whether it's because he needs more time to prepare for Crawford or his lost hope, Spence Jr. sure knows how formidable Terence Crawford is, according to a tweet from TalkSport editor Michael Benson. The truth spoke on a potential fight between Crawford and Canelo. You fight Canelo, I'll be going for him. I mean, I don't know if you're going to win or lose, but I'd definitely be going Crawford. I think if anybody can pull it off, he can pull it off. He's chasing greatness. So why not? Canelo came up to 175, and he said if Crawford wants to challenge himself to be great, let him try to be great. I'm with it. As for who he thinks will win, Spence's words exuded confidence in his former opponent. I'd be going for Bud. I don't know if he'd win or lose, but if anybody can pull it off, he can pull it off. Spence added Hall of Fame fighter and current promoter trainer and respected analyst Roy Jones Jr. shared scenarios in which he sees both Terence Crawford and David Benovitz beating Alvarez. He began with David Benovitz, saying it's a tough fight to call because Benovitz throws a lot of punches. Sometimes power can intervene and make that a different situation, Jones said in an interview with Boxing Scene. A little big for Crawford. I'm not sure about that because Crawford does have a punch of power and shock, but I think Canelo's little big show tonight. He's pretty big. So I'd probably rather Fatig fight. See, the problem is Canelo willing to take the risk? I don't really think he will right now because I don't think he feels like he has a reason to. If he can't hurt Benovitz early in the first 3 or 4 rounds, I don't see him winning that fight. The 2-time 168 pounds tightless Benovitz has been pounding the table for a crack at Alvarez over the last 2 years. Formerly recognized as the best welterweight in the world, Crawford is open to moving up 2 weight classes for the chance at clashing with the Mexican star. Alvarez, meanwhile, maintains that a win against Crawford would do little for his legacy, even though many are giving Crawford a real chance to score the win. Char will fight Crawford first and then see how that goes. If he does good against Charlo with the weight, then let's see him come up a fight. Can yes, but not right now. I want to see him. If anybody can do it and pull it off, it's Crawford. So you can't tell him no, said Jones. I was the kind of guy that if someone said they were better than me, and if I can get close to your weight here, I gave John Ruiz 33 pounds. When I won the heavyweight title in 2003, I didn't care. I wanted to prove that I was pound for pound the best and to do something historic that had never been done. That's probably how Bud feels. Right now, he wants to do something historic to solidify his legacy in boxing. Who doesn't want to see the pound-for-pound best from yesterday fight the pound-for-pound best from today? Who wouldn't want to see that fight? It's a mega fight if he puts the muscle and weight on. How can you doubt him? One thing that's for sure is that he's going to go out there and fight, and not just collect a paycheck. He's going to go out there and try to win the fight because that's who Bud is. If he carries the weight, it'll be a good fight. He can box just like Floyd Mayweather, and he can also fight. He hits and doesn't get hit. If he can take the punch at that weight, he'll probably win the fight. I want to see Craw come up with some weight classes and show he going to be dom at 50 for that fight. We'll go see Craw won a pound to fight Jones, who fluctuated in weight during the latter half of his career as a 4-division title holder. Said Alvarez should continue his career moving forward at super middleweight. It's definitely best that Alvarez stays at 168. I didn't understand why he went to 175 to fight Dmitry Bivol. Anyway, said Jones, he had already beaten Serge Kovalev, who was at the end of his career. Bivol was in the middle of his. They are 2 different animals. He got the crusher at the right time. Go back down and dominate where you are at. Don't try to fight another one. Because lightning ain't gonna strike twice like I can bet the house on, but because me and him,